everybody, welcome to another episode of Everyday Strong with Dr. Michael G. Daniels. As you can see, we have a brand new setup here, and we've been gone for a while, so I decided, hey, what the heck, we'll do something different to appease everybody. Welcome to the show, Dr. Daniels.
Always great to be here, and like I say, we took a few weeks off, but we're back in stride now, and so just looking forward to great things as we move forward.
Yes. So today's topic is something that a lot of people go through quietly, and some people go through loudly, if you want to say. It's holiday depression. Mm-hmm. And, whether you've had a loved one that's passed recently or they pass around the holidays, or just, if you had a mother that passed and holidays come around, you start thinking about that Christmas music starts playing, those old memories start coming up. And some people don't know how to handle that. So let's talk about that. What are some of the things that we can do, Dr. Daniels, to help us in that holiday depression?
Well, first of all, let me just say, I think you're absolutely right. When you think about the suicide rates, for example, the holidays, the suicide rate skyrocket because we have put so much of an emphasis on the holidays being a time of joy, that for people that are not experiencing what the television tells us we ought to feel like, that puts more pressure on you. When people are telling you how much you ought to be thankful for this and that, and it's true, we always should be thankful. But if you're just going through a rough time, then you don't feel that, I'm so thankful. That puts more pressure on you. Mm-hmm. And there are people who are, who have lost loved ones, as you said. There are people who their relationships are falling apart. And so if you're by yourself during the holiday season, that's a time when everyone expects, to be together with friends and family, and you're all alone. It heightens that depression. And, so I think, one of the things that we ought to always, understand is that, number one, is that just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean that I won't be faced with that kind of situation. I think Christians are the last people to admit I am depressed, Mm-hmm. And as a Christian, one thing that we have to stop doing is just telling people, get yourself together. Just pray about it and it's going to be all right. Right. Because that's not the facts of how the Bible even teaches us. And it certainly is not how things get all right. It's not just, let's just pray about it, and I think the perfect example when you look at it are the Psalms of David, and how David dealt with his difficult times. And he himself, when you read his Psalms, it's evident that he probably suffered from bouts of depression. If you look at the book of Ezekiel, he probably suffered bouts of depression, but was able to overcome it, through various means.
So you mentioned they have things in the Bible that help us with that. So what are some of the things in the Bible that help us with depression?
Well, I think one of the things, if you look at, for example, David, and look at some of David's Psalms, one of the key Psalms that most of us are familiar with is the 23rd division of Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And what David does in that Psalm is he lays out reasons why, even though the world may not be treating me the way I want the world to treat me, why I have a reason to still have some joy in my heart, So I don't have to compare myself to the world, and I think that's a key thing there. I may be by myself, but that doesn't mean I should feel bad about being by myself, because I have the Lord, He's always there. And David points out that because I have Him in my life, my expectations ought not to be based upon how the world says I need to enjoy this time. If my view of Thanksgiving should not be centered around how large a family I have, whether or not I'm married and have children, whether or not I have a significant other in my life, but my Thanksgiving ought to be about not where I am just today, but what I have been able to overcome up to this point in my life, because I may have had trials and tribulations, this past 2 or 3 years in my life, but the fact that I have come through them, right, says that I have a reason to be thankful. I may still be behind in my bills today, but have a reason to be thankful because even being behind in my bills, I'm still a survivor.
Right.
I'm still making it. I'm still okay. I may not have the big turkey on the table,
Right.
But I'm still okay. I think that's the key point that David brings out.
Yeah. I sometimes when I get in those little modes, when I get frustrated with life, I go down to the bare basics, which is I'm breathing
Mm-hmm.
and I'm walking around. I'm not in the hospital.
Right.
There's somebody that's laying in a hospital bed right now fighting for their life, or they've gotten bad news and they're waiting to go through surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not experiencing any of that. So I'm grateful for not to be experiencing any of that.
Right.
Or if I'm walking and I'm, my ankles hurting or my knees are hurting, and there's somebody that cannot walk because they have no legs.
Right.
It's like, and they would do anything just to be able to walk,
Mm-hmm.
even with the pain that I have. So why am I complaining about the pain that I have?
Right.
But then, like how we said, you can even take that and that could be the depressing. Like, why am I so, in tune to myself? But it helps me be grateful for what I have and say, okay, let me put things in perspective.
Absolutely. You think about it again. I mean, the 23rd Psalm to me is just a classic example. When you think about the holiday depression, I'm not talking about clinically depressed, but just the sadness that people go through during the holidays, right? When you think about it, what David says, like in the 23rd Psalm, none of it suggests that he's having a great time right now. When he says the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, it doesn't suggest he's going through a great thing right now. In fact, he says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Which says what? I'm facing some tough times.
Right.
I'm going through some tough times, but I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, meaning the Lord's with him. And so I think a lot of how when we come to a place where we are feeling sad and feeling downtrodden, it's because we are in places that are difficult, and our thoughts are, well, why me? Why am I here? And why can't I be in a better place? And if God is so good, why am I in this bad place? And that can make you feel sad. Again, if it's the holiday season and I don't have money to splurge, on this big dinner for my family, or I don't have money to buy all these gifts, what's wrong with me? And why can't we have? But David said it this way. He said, thou preparest a table for me in the presence of my enemies, which means what? There are people that are attacking me.
Right.
I'm going through some stuff right now, but God is still there taking care of me. And I think that's a key thing for us to keep in mind is that, it often brings about sadness when I compare myself to where I think I should have been, mm-hmm. or where others have told me I should be. And that's key. Other people should not define where you are. Other people should not define how you enjoy your holiday. If enjoying your holiday is being alone, if that's where you are, don't feel bad because that's what you want to do.
Right.
If you don't have money to go out and buy all these expensive gifts at Christmas time, mm-hmm. don't feel bad that you don't have money to spend, because your child asked for this and that, and because I can tell you, the day of $5 gifts for kids is over with.
Oh yeah, that's gone.
The day of $25 gifts for kids is over with. They want things that run $200, $300, $400, $500 for Christmas. That's a car payment.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't feel bad about not being able to do that. For your child, for anyone in your life, because just because it's a holiday, don't mean your debts took a holiday. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that the people who are acting foolish took a holiday. Right. They're going to be still there. So you shouldn't feel bad because you're not experiencing what other people are experiencing, because you don't know if they are experiencing it either.
Right.
Just because they are going out to the mall buying stuff, don't mean they're having joy in their life.
Right.
Just because they have a nice Christmas tree and all these things, don't mean that they are feeling so great. Mm-hmm. But we tend to compare like that. And so David's psalm again, he doesn't do that comparison to anybody else. All he compares it to is where he's going through and how he's coming out of it. All he keeps saying is, You know, I may be still under the pressure of those that don't like me, but I'm always being delivered, and I'm always coming through, and I'm always making it. He never indicates that he's ever at a point where he's totally free from people trying to bring him down. But he knows that no matter what they do, he keeps rising to the top. That's because of God. And so I think that's what we ought to really be focusing on. Doing Thanksgiving, doing Christmas, not the commercialization of it, but what the true meaning should have been, which is, I've come through. Again, think about Thanksgiving. You know, what were they celebrating? They weren't celebrating what we celebrate. They were celebrating coming through difficult times.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it was harsh times they were facing. And their celebration was the fact that even during those harsh times, those who they had been fearful of helped them through the harsh times. You know, isn't that favor?
Yes.
I mean, if those who you think are your enemies help you, that's favor. And that's what David says, is that I'm getting favor from God. They weren't overflowing. They didn't get brand new houses.
No.
You know?
Have to get some food.
Right.
Right.
They didn't get brand new horses, and
Right.
and you know, they still were facing the same harsh winters they had always faced. They still were facing the same difficulties, but what they were thankful for, but they had made it through another season, and they had food on the table. Now, if I'm here and I've made it through another season,
Right.
and I got food on my table, then that's all I should judge it by. You know? So I think that's what we ought to be thinking about.
Yeah, being in the leadership realm of things, people always talk about, you know, even in the law of attraction, like being grateful, be thankful all the time. And I sit back and I look at people and I don't see them doing it. And I often tell people, I said, the quickest way to turn around something in your life is two things you have to do. Praise God and then be thankful.
Absolutely.
If you do those two things, it's almost immediate. Like it's like within the hour. It's like the old joke with Richard Pryor. Like, put your foot to the phone. You know, we're going to heal the person over the phone. It's like that. It's like, but in all seriousness, it does work pretty fast once you start changing inside of you. Like, okay, I'm going through a lot, but I'm here and I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. Praise God, I'm able to do this. Boom. I'm so thankful I'm able to do this and get through this. Boom. You ain't got, and a lot of people sit around and say, well, I'm not going to do the whole, you don't have to do the whole shebang. You ain't got to be shouting up and down the aisles of church. You sit there and you say, you know what, I am thankful for this.
Absolutely.
Praise God for that. Thank you, Lord, for this. And you're good.
Absolutely.
And why do people feel, let me ask this question. Because I'm going to say this. I always felt pressured that if I wasn't doing what I'm going to call the extraness in church, that I wasn't doing it right. You know, so therefore I didn't do it at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And you know, I'm going to say it from a personal standpoint, okay? Because we're in the holiday season, all right? I remember, let me say this by preface, I love my mother-in-law, I love my father-in-law. Let me preface that up front, okay? They had traditions that I did not have. And so my wife put expectations on me for the holidays based on how her parents did things, which was fine. But it wasn't how I wanted to do things. You know, like for example, and I'm saying like you're saying was when people expect you to do a certain thing,
Right.
and you don't do it. They expected me to celebrate Christmas in a way that said to my children, Santa Claus is this, you know, is great and will give you everything your heart desire, and so forth and so on. Because that was their thing. And I get it. I realize that for many people, that's a big issue. Well, my father told me when I was young, he said, ain't nobody bringing nothing in this house except me.
Right.
Right. And he was upset, because I guess he had a bad time on the job. I don't know, but his thing was, and that in this life you only get what you pay for, right? Now, which meant that initially I felt bad, and my wife helped me to feel bad because I wasn't viewing Christmas the way they viewed Christmas, and I wasn't excited about Christmas the way they were excited about Christmas, and it made me feel bad that I wasn't there. So like you said, I withdrew. So I withdrew more into my own self because I felt like something was wrong with me.
Right.
That I can't feel it the way they feel it. I can't get the excitement the way they get the excitement. I'm not going to be singing these Christmas carols and getting all excited about decorating and this kind of thing. And so that made me more depressed because I feel like something was wrong with me because of the way they did things. I think people in church do the same thing. Is that they put expectations on us about our praise, about our worship, about our thankfulness. And so consequently, you look around and you're thinking, well, wow, well, if I do what they're doing, they're going to know I'm faking it.
Right.
And if I do what I want to do, then they're going to be like, why are you doing that? So you do nothing, which is what I did. But again, I felt bad for doing nothing because I feel like I need to do something. Here's how I look at it. Again, I keep going to the 23rd Psalm because it's just so apropos. It's just right there, There's nothing in that psalm where it says other people's expectations or anything I should be judged by. Nothing. There's nothing David said about how he feels about being thankful to God and how he feels about his place in the world. Nothing relates to other people. All it relates to is where he is right now. No, he said the Lord is, which signifies that is a continuous present tense. That is present today, and when tomorrow comes, it's still in the present tense. It's always in the present tense. Now I'm saying that because of this. Most people, their sadness, their gloom is not about where they are today. It's about where they were yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's about what they fear tomorrow. David never dealt with yesterday. He never dealt with tomorrow. He stayed right in the present the whole time.
Right.
He said, yea, though I walk, which is what? If I'm doing it now, I will fear. He didn't say tomorrow I won't fear. It said when I'm walking in it, I won't fear. So he kept it in the present. And his point being that if I live in the present, it keeps me from lamenting my past. It keeps me from worrying about my future because none of that is guaranteed. Future isn't guaranteed anyway, right? We know that. We know our past cannot be changed. And so to keep lamenting about something I cannot change really just wastes my current day.
Right.
And to worry about a thing that I cannot change, I cannot really forecast, right, does the same thing. But what I can do is enjoy where I am right now.
Right.
That's what I can enjoy. So again, for whether it is sitting at home for Thanksgiving by myself or even with my family, or whether I'm sitting in church on Sunday morning, I got a choice. My choice is I can look at what other people are doing in the congregation, right? And I can say to myself, I need to do what they're doing. But that ain't making me happy.
Right.
And it sure ain't making God happy because now I'm not genuine, right? Or I can say, hey, where am I right now? What place am I in right now?
Right.
How is that message hitting me right now? And, if it's hitting me and I'm feeling good about what the message is saying to me, then that's it. I may never raise my hand. I may never shout. I may never say amen. But it's about me and God. And so I think that's the key, is to keep it about your relationship, not about what others say your relationship ought to be.
Yeah. You mentioned being present. We had talked other podcast episodes ago about being present. And one thing that I have found with my busy schedule is I'm sitting there working and my kids want my attention. And, and I try to get them attention and then trying to split my attention. And they're still not satisfied. And so it's like, you know what? They're not satisfied because I'm not present with them.
Right.
And now I'm going to take this a step further. And also I had to learn how to do that through prayer. Because, sometimes if people are not going to really admit this, but it happens. Like when you be praying and then that random thought hits your head and then now you're off in the weeds thinking about what happened at work. And you're like, oh man, I messed this whole prayer. It's like practicing or being present with the Lord while you're praying. And you helped me out with that you said something a couple podcasts ago. You was like, when you're praying, you should be praising him and exalting him. And in the second I started doing that, then I was able, because then you can't veer off into the weeds on what's going on with you. But if you go to him asking, like, Lord, help me with my bills, help me with this, help me with that. Now you're thinking about all the negative stuff versus just talking to him and saying, thanking him. So I never told you that, but that really did help a lot.
And it makes good sense when you think about it, right? Because if I'm begging God to help me with a bill, what I'm thinking about now is what is the solution going to be?
Right.
Right. But the solution is future oriented.
Right.
Right. The fact that I have the bill is past tense. So it takes me there. If I'm talking to God about where I am right now, see, I have bills right now. It's not like my bills have stopped coming because it is today, right? But the deal is this. Why am I worried about it when if I don't pay it today, what's going to happen? And if I got the money to pay it today, I'm going to pay it today.
Right.
So it's like you say, it's why am I in that worry spot? So maybe, again, that's why, think about that 23rd Psalm. David, even though David acknowledged he had adversities, but he didn't say, well, Lord, I need you to keep them from coming towards me. He said, yea, though I walk through the valley, I will fear no evil. So that, in a sense, is saying, Lord, I'm just so thankful that I got you in the valley with me. Right? Lord, that he prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies. It's saying, Lord, I'm just so thankful that you're still feeding me, even though folk around me are trying to bring me down. But again, like you said, that's present tense stuff. It's present tense stuff. It is not focused on what I may have gone through behind these people. It's not focused on what I need to worry about for the future. It's saying God is always going to take care of me in the present. I have a brother that used to always say this, that tomorrow is the day that never comes. That was his favorite saying when we were in high school. He was in high school at that time. I was younger than him. He would say, tomorrow is the day that never comes. And I debated with him. It does come too. Tomorrow does come.
Right.
And I said, he said, no, it doesn't. I said, because the day is like Tuesday, and so tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, and Wednesday's going to come. He said, Wednesday might come, but tomorrow won't come. And I said, how can that be? He said, because when tomorrow comes, it's going to be today. And then again, when tomorrow comes, it's going to be today. He said, because every day is today. No day is tomorrow. Right. Tomorrow is a figment of your imagination, he would say. Tomorrow is what you worry about, not what you live in. If you think about it, that really makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So why am I keep worrying about that which hasn't come up yet? Why do I keep focusing on tomorrow rather than living in today? Because, someone asked me a while back, what would you do if you had a terminal illness? And I said I would go to the bank immediately, take out a personal loan for $100,000. Or as much money they would let me take out without collateral. That's what I would take out. Why would you do that? I spent every dime before I died. What are they going to do?
Right.
I would enjoy every day.
Right.
Up to the time I died. Because that's what we need to be thinking about is today.
And the funny thing is there's studies that's out that say that people that do that overcome it because they're spending time being happy and everything in the body, complete the physiology thing happens, body changes.
You stop worrying.
Right. All that stress goes away.
Body rejuvenates itself.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's the same thing about holiday depression. Again, I'm not talking about clinical depression. I'm talking about depression that's caused by the holidays. It's the same thing about when someone leaves you, depression, you know, they walked out of my life. It's the same thing, because our worry is not about where we are. It's about where we were, and a fear about where we're going.
Yeah. I know when situations like that happen for me, I know my base. So I know what my basic things that make me happy.
Right.
So these are my go-tos. Like the first thing when I'm having an issue or something, I'm depressed or whatever, I'm going to the movies. I'm gonna give me a large popcorn and a soda by myself.
Right.
I don't want nobody, in my ear complaining. I don't need my wife there. I don't like this movie. I just want to be there by myself, chill out. And then after that hour and a half, I feel so much better. But that's my base.
Right.
I encourage other people to say, you know what? Find out what your base is. It could be building model cars, doing puzzles. It could be just sitting in the bed reading. But find out what your base is, and then you'll gradually come right on out of it.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. Go to your place of sanctification.
Right.
Go to that place that sets you aside from the world, where you can just enjoy who you are without all the other outside interference. I couldn't agree with you more. And I can tell you that, like when I'm, scuba diving, for example, when I'm 100 feet under the water, and I'm just watching the sea creatures go by. That is no care is there.
Right.
Zero care is there. It's like being in another world. Right. It's like this, and so unfortunately I can't do that as often as you can go to the movies.
Right.
But I get what you're saying. It's absolute truism.
Yeah, and you try to get me to go scuba diving with you, and I understand it's peaceful for you, but for me it'd be terrifying. Because the second I see that barracuda or something just swimming around, I'm trying to come up as fast as possible.
I'm gonna tell you, you might say that now, but I would be willing to bet you, if you were underwater and you actually saw a shark swim by, I bet you would be so awed by him or her that you wouldn't even try to move. And I can tell you, because I have been. An example. I know it's still like no depression, but it's still, you just drop it out there. Right. My wife and I were in. I'm trying to think of the island off the top of my head. Anyway, Turks Caicos. My wife and I were in Turks Caicos, and we were getting ready to go into the water off the beach, and a shark just swam up. Okay, the shark swam up, and I jumped out of the water. My wife jumped out of the water. Right. And we're seeing the sharks. I'm like, heck, what shark? Can't believe a shark. This is about maybe 4 feet.
Right.
Okay. Now, when I go scuba diving, when I see a shark, I don't jump up.
Right.
And I can't tell you why psychologically it's different.
Right.
But seeing the shark when I was getting ready to go into the water come by, something said to me, you better get out of this water. That's a shark.
Right.
When I'm under the water and the sharks come by, I am in awe. I don't know if it's the gracefulness at which they swim by, of what it is. I'm just in awe. And the bigger they are, the more in awe I am. I was off the coast of North Carolina, and tiger shark, probably about maybe 5-6 feet, and they're very curious. Swam up to me 3 feet away, and then just one flick of the tail, boom, and disappeared. I was in awe at how that one flick of the tail, he was gone.
Right.
And then the person that was diving with me, gave me the sound of a shark and pointed. And just that fast, this shark just circled back around and was swimming beside us. Like he was motionless, just going beside us, just curious, what are you all doing here?
Right.
Right. And I gotta tell you, it's so breathtaking that I don't think you would be afraid. I really don't. I think you would just be like, wow, what has God created? Right.
And it also goes to that God gave us dominion over all animals too. Mm-hmm. And not dealing with sharks, but with dogs. For me, I'm the same way. Mm-hmm. Sherry gets terrified. My wife Sherry gets terrified when she sees a dog. Anything above a Yorkie, she's terrified if she sees a loose dog. Mm-hmm. I don't even flinch. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, a lot of the dogs that I encounter, when they're barking, run up to me, as soon as I turn and look them straight in the eye, they immediately stop.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they just chill out. Because then it's like, okay, yeah, he knows what he's doing. It's like, right. It's like, you know, what do you want? Now I'm walking, you know. Yeah, but the only thing that I'm even remotely scared about in this area that I walk at is we have a black bear that happens to walk across the
Right.
road up here once in a while. And that's a little big to be, you know, but even with that, I said if I emit fear, then the animal will come towards me. But if I don't emit fear,
Right.
then it will go away. So, so we'll talk about that fear word on the next podcast.
We definitely need to talk about fear because I can tell you, and you already know this too, fear is the greatest enemy to success.
Mm-hmm. It is. And yes, most definitely. Well, Dr. Des, you got to bring anything else to the table?
Just want to wish all those who will be able to listen to this podcast prior to Thanksgiving. Just wish them all a happy Thanksgiving and to let them know that, hey, listen, do it your way. You know, don't feel bad if you don't do it somebody else's way. Do it your way. And just, you know, think about where you are, not where you should be.
Thank y'all so much. This is your host, C.B. Baker.